my teaching is going to keep blowing away. I'm going to have a problem. All clowning around the side, our lessons today present before us a couple of very different themes. And ordinarily, I would just pick one and run with it. The problem is, I can't really talk about our experience of the cost of discipleship and ignore the 800-pound gorilla in the second lesson we heard today from Philemon. So, I'm going to dive in. Paul writes to Philemon probably from house arrest in Rome, awaiting his trial before Caesar. I'm not going to get into the long story about how he ended up in that situation, because it'll just take us off track for today. He's writing a letter to accompany Onesimus back to the household of Philemon. Onesimus is a slave owned by Philemon and his household. It's easy for me to see Paul stuck between a rock and a hard place here. Onesimus is a Christian, a disciple. Philemon is a disciple. Probably the whole household are believers. But here's Paul under house arrest, being watched. Under Roman law, he's obliged to see that the slave goes back to his owner. But he's got to find some way to finagle between the lines, so to speak, sending him back with a potent message for that household that they can't continue to treat this man as possession. Joseph Fitzmyer, in his very scholarly commentary on the letter of Philemon, points out several things in Paul's message that are really potent and are a contradiction for the way that this letter has been abused in other eras of Christian history as a justification for the ongoing practice of slavery. Paul urges very strongly, receive Onesimus back, and with me. Receive him back as a brother, beloved Christ. And although Paul doesn't expressly say it, the implication is very strong when he says, I would love to have him back with me in service of the gospel. He's saying very strongly, without expressly contradicting Roman law, you need to emancipate this guy. You can't keep this up. It's not okay. And Paul's message, again, delicately woven between the lines. Like you say, it's easy for me to see Paul sitting in this residence, knowing that everything he does is being scrutinized. Someone's going to read his mail before it goes out. Writing between the lines, the strong, potent message to believers in the house church of Philemon's household, saying, this has got to stop. And that message is consistent with everything in the rest of the gospel stories that we know of Jesus and his example of his teaching. Now, the other theme to these readings, discipleship, cost, and God inviting us to dramatic personal transformation, touch us in a whole different way. The first lesson, Jeremiah uses that imagery of the potter making a pot or a vase or whatever as an illustration of God working among us. I don't know how many of you have ever played around with pottery or any of that kind of stuff, took those classes in school. A potter's wheel is basically a table that's circular, mounted on a spindle so it will rotate. And the potter controls the speed and uses that spinning action to help them shape a smooth, round vessel, whatever it may be. And of course, like anything else you make out of clay, if it doesn't come out the way you want it, you mash it down and start over again. So Jeremiah uses this imagery as God tenderly, artfully, skillfully shaping us into the people we're called to be, into the people we're born to be in the mind and heart of our Creator. The cost of discipleship, ultimately, is personal change. And I don't know about you guys, but I'll be honest and admit that I don't much enjoy admitting that I need to change. Even though I know I'm not perfect, I make my mistakes, I have bad habits. But that's part of the cost of being a disciple. Allowing God in to do the work, to guide me, inspire me, and motivate me to move forward in my faith journey. In our gospel story, Jesus picks up the message from a very different perspective and with a whole lot more drama. And he uses a very time-honored way of expressing himself. Exaggeration. It was done then and we do it now. He's not literally telling us you have to hate your spouse and your children and your family and your home and your life. But he is dramatizing how deep and strong, potent our commitment to the way the Christian life has to be. Because things in this life will try to come between us and Jesus. It might be a friend or a family member, co-worker. It might be a situation on the job or in town or whatever. Thank God, here in Sierra Vista, we don't have to deal with overt persecution in the sense of the time Luke was writing the gospel, where you could be dragged out of your home and your possessions confiscated because you were one of those outlawed Christians, or even put to death. And although we can thank God that's not happening to us today, we know it does happen to Christians in other parts of the world. They need to be in the prayers. However, we can experience other painful costs to being followers of Christ. We might lose a friend or get alienated from a family member. It might cost us a business opportunity or a job opportunity. Could get us ridiculed in one setting or another. It's important that we don't let these experiences or the potential of them come between us and Christ. And it's important that we don't shy away from that ongoing call in the love of God that we change and grow and make that personal progress. Richard Foster, in his book on prayer, very simply titled Prayer, offers a brief, succinct, and to me beautiful prayer that I think is the perfect thing for us to end with and take home today. And to Mark's talents as our webmaster in a few days, I'll give him the text and it'll be up there if you want to cross-reference that or print it out and stick it in your pocket or whatever. Dear Lord Jesus, in my better moments I want nothing more than to be like you. But there are other moments. Help me to see how good conformity to your way really is. In my seeking for you, may I be found by